Hey folks, the first couple of questions I've got from you on my invite from the last video are as follows. The first one's uh, quite detailed from Greg Mock. Um, Great to have Greg involved on the channel, often sends great comments. Really enjoy his contributions. He said, last night I was looking at videos for pickup height for humbucking pickups. I found most people said net pickups at 3/32 of bridge pickups at 1/16. Then I see a guy like Tom Bukovic, is that how you say it? Bukovac, with his 335 and the pickups almost flush to the pickup rings. I've read that Eric Johnson likes the pickups almost flush to the pick guard. My Epiphone 335 IG has some humbuggers, and I'd like to calm them down a bit. I mean, I really haven't got around to dialing them in yet. Any suggestions? Well, I don't think there are actually any correct heights for pickups. That's what I've always learned. What I do generally when I'm setting up a guitar is set them, I think, about 3 or 4 millimeters from the strings. Normally a little bit further from the bass E, because the bass E needs more room to vibrate. So some people, for instance, um, they'll go, let's say, 2 or 3 millimeters from the high E, and then 3 or 4 from the bass E. So you have sort of a default positioning for them, and then I play it and see how it sounds. And if it sounds like they need to be backed off, I do it in increments. So I'll back it off another millimeter or two, play it again. So it really is a trial and error thing. If you have a particular guitar, I would say maybe go with one of these suggestions. For some people, it's like 3/16 of an inch or something like that. Other people do it in millimeters, but go with, or even just eyeball it, to where the pickups are sitting, 2, 3, 4 millimeters from the bottom of the string, maybe a little bit farther away on the high E, and play it aggressively, play it softly. If you have more than one amp, try it on a couple of different amps so that you get a fuller understanding of what the pickups are doing. Most people only have one amp, so you'll just have to go with that. I found that some pickups like to perform best fairly close to the strings, but I have had guitars where the pickups are kind of hot, and I've backed them off. But I don't think I've ever set up a guitar with the pickups flush to the pick guard, that far down into the guitar. I don't remember ever doing that. There may be a reason why Eric Johnson does that. Maybe he uses really hot pickups, or maybe he likes his pickups to work a little harder for his tone. I don't know what the reasoning would be, but that's what I would do. It's all trial and error for me. There's technically no heights for anything in musical instruments. There are suggested heights, but it changes from guitar to guitar. For instance, there's a standard string height for acoustic and electric guitars, but I've found that can change depending on the guitar, depending on the neck, depending on how aggressive you play, your style of playing even. If I'm setting up a guitar for a finger picker, the action might be slightly different from somebody who really hammers at chords, or plays aggressively with a pick. So, a lot has to do with your particular style, what you're running it through, what kind of music you want to play. Guys who like, really hot sound when they're really driving an amp, like metal and things like that. Often they have their pickups fairly high because they want the maximum of string sound to be converted into electric energy. So there's no real Uh, Height for these things, it really is trial and error. And I really would start out with a standard height and then work down from there until you get your optimal playing sound, what you like, what suits your particular playing style. The second question comes from Denise Barrett. She says, how do you choose which instruments to demo? Well, I know this is going to sound corny, but they actually choose me. I have, I'm suspended right now because I'm moving, but I have many methods of finding guitars, and most of the time I'm finding them for setup and resale, sometimes restoration. And so it really runs the gamut. I mean, I can be looking at all kinds of used guitars that just need, some sort of repair to get them serviceable and playing. Of course, they have to be fixable, and they have to be worth fixing, and they have to be worth my time to fix them. And all those three things are slightly different. When it comes to new guitars, and I do buy a lot of new guitars, I'm looking at not necessarily branded guitars, but guitars that are pretty well made, that have good resale value, and that perform even better with a pro setup. So, the criteria is kind of loose, and I can play around within those parameters. So with used guitars, I work on everything: old Alvarez, Yamaha, any of the Canadian brands, sometimes older American brands, Honors, Harmonies, that kind of stuff, or even occasionally Martins, Taylors. Yeah, I got interrupted there for a minute, so just came outside. Occasionally there are guitars that I want to check out, that I hear some buzz on. That's the case with Orangewood, that's the case with the Blue Ridges I got, that's the case with all of the really improved Chinese and Asian manufacturers like IOAV, ERT, Donner. Occasionally I read up or see other videos and decide, yeah, I'd like to try one of those. So sometimes there is an intent to get a particular instrument, but a lot of times it really is the luck of the draw. It's what's available, it's what I can get my hands on through various suppliers, from wholesale to buying used or damaged. I have various chains that I go through, and it really is a case of what's available, what I can get my hands on. And a lot of times it's surprising stuff. It's stuff I've never heard of, seen, or worked on before. And other times it's sort of like runs of things that I'm able to go with for a while. For instance, for a while I was getting the UK boy ukuleles for quite a long time. And then it was, things like the Clevan guitars, which just disappeared. I was getting the, trying to remember the names of some of these things, but there was a couple of guitar brands that I was getting for quite a long time, and then the supply dried up, or the guitars went out of I want to say out of print, but they don't go out of print. They go out of stock, or out of style, or out of production, or whatever. So to answer your question, it really is a case of hunting and finding what you find. And I kind of like that. With the occasional sprinkling of runs of guitars from certain suppliers that I think are really, really good, and I buy them in bulk. So I don't know how that will continue in the UK, but I'm looking forward to finding out. So I hope that answers your first two questions. Send me some more in the comments and I will address them. All right, folks. Man, we're in the middle of a heat wave right now. It's blistering hot here where I am, probably where you are too. I'm looking forward to cooler weather, I'm telling you. Okay, folks. See you next time.